Young Royals Season 3 Part 1 has been released. Simon and Wilhelm have never had an easy life. Will status as the Crown Prince of Sweden be damned? It's a miracle the star-crossed lovers of young royals ever got together nevertheless despite their disparate social classes. And of course, that tape their love remained strong during the first 2 seasons. However, the relationship has been worse than it was in Season 3, when the two could finally be themselves in public. Will and Simon are under more pressure to fit in as a royal couple, which is causing their differences to become more apparent now that they are free to admit their love. Will's hesitation to fully back Simon's initiative to encourage a shift in Sweden's perceptions towards queerness points to his royal privilege, even as Simon feels emboldened to do so. Furthermore, these disparities have the potential to entirely separate the couple if they aren't attentive. In the final episode before the conclusion, Will is talking over the phone with his father, who is frequently away about Eric, the sibling he lost. Will be completely taken aback when August brutally disclosed that the former crown prince had participated in homophobic hazing practices at Hilla. Later that week, Simon has an appointment with the king and queen to celebrate Will's birthday, but will the pair make it that far? The prince can't help but believe that Simon is passing judgment on his brother Wilhelm, when Wilhelm confides in Simon about what Eric has done. Actually, Simon does a pretty good job with this. He just tells Will that he needs to get used to the idea that maybe Eric isn't perfect. However, the prince becomes quite protective and leaves, which is not good news for the birthday celebrations that are about to take place. Sarah, Simon's sister, is a cast member as well. Nevertheless, as Simon confides in his mother about the argument, she notes that perhaps Will and her relationship shouldn't be this difficult, especially when you're this young. Nevertheless, Simon is unfazed and wakes Will up on his birthday with a song and a cute little chick, because, well, we all know how much he likes to sing. It turns out that Will had sent a text apology earlier in the week. Simon claims that they're okay now, but it's unclear how long that will continue. First up comes the public-facing party, which of course includes August, who loves nothing more than to work his way into the royal circle and thrives on controversy. Ian will be made to take happy photos together, as photographers swarm about until the prince has had enough and plans for August's quick departure. Simon finds it completely insane and serves as another reminder of the vast distance between them when he discovers that Will is only allowed to consume food that has been inspected by security to ensure it hasn't been tainted. Later there's a more private celebration where the king and queen talk with Simon, as Will looks on uncomfortably and becomes increasingly agitated. Eric's name keeps coming up, and eventually it all comes to a head when his mother refuses to eat any of Will's cake. Wilhelm lets loose a flood of fury, the culmination of all the wrath he has been holding inside since the beginning of the play. Will describe the anguish he after Eric's death, saying, "I was crushed and I needed you. I wasn't even allowed to mourn with you." Sweden's pain was more important, but Wilhelm has been thinking about more than just that. Will tell his mother, "You have a breakdown when I don't want to lie about Simon. You're never here for me." Will doesn't stop even after the king intervenes to protect his wife. "And you don't care about me, and you let mom do as she pleases. Dad, I'm your only son. Are you able to see me? Please allow me to converse while I have king. It's not that easy to be your and your boss." Christina tries to justify herself, which Will roars, "I've noticed, because you're useless at both." With everything said and done, Will storm off completely drained, since those are the kinds of statements you can never truly take back. When Simon eventually gets to see him, he finds the birthday kid sobbing on his bed. The discussion abruptly changes in a way that surprises Will. There is so much love in those words that linger in the air, but there is also a lot of suffering, and it's unclear who will prevail. Simon remarks, "It feels like you've changed into someone else. I don't recognize you." Subsequently, Simon utters statements that are difficult to retract. Marrying his mother's love shouldn't be this hard. Will wonder what you mean, as the message finally clicks with him. Simon says, "Maybe this just won't work. I can't do this anymore." Subsequently, the credits begin to roll. Even if Netflix has divided this season into 2 parts, which means that all of the viewers are fervently, compulsively engaged in this romance, will have to wait a whole week for answers. This would have been an even crueler cliffhanger. Will Wilhelm and Simon survive? Is it possible for Simon to be both against the system and genuinely admire it, well as Will represents his birthright? A joyful conclusion seems inevitable. On the one hand, seeing a young royal and a young commoner fall in love is, after all, the thrill of young royals. We've all been cheering for it, and the fans are also motivated by this relationship. Actor Omar Redberg of Simon expresses his desire for it as well. "I'm excited to witness them act like we are against the world kind of thing." Redberg said to us after the suspenseful conclusion of Season 2. However, Omar conceded it can't be like that all the time. It needs to be captivating. The emotions must be awakened. Even though it hurts to say it, we think that Will and Simon parting ways at the conclusion would make for a more interesting conclusion. After all, not many teenage relationships last until adulthood, so it would make sense that the show's focus on royal privilege would eventually lead to that outcome, causing the couple to part ways as their ideas diverge. Young Royals has consistently shown real life in a genuine manner that few other series can equal. In that sense, Wilman's demise could be the most appropriate conclusion. Nothing endures forever, and Young Royals is no exception. Of course, we all hope that their story ends happily, but that is not how things always work out. Those poor youngsters have experienced much too much. Thanks for watching, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss out latest videos of Media Breakdown.